from India to the United States.
Yes.
Big, huge hug and love. Thank you for such a sweet invitation.
It's an absolute honor to be here with you in this moment, to be very honest, because Myra, your work has touched me so much and so deeply. Um, Maybe it's just a poem, maybe it's just the art, maybe it's just a few words that sometimes you write. But I mean, there is such resonance that I feel with it, and it
Nice,
touches my heart so deeply, so deeply. Sometimes it's just exactly what I need in that moment. So
nice,
I just feel this deep connection and reverence, honestly, towards you. Uh,
nice.
and I know there's a vast probably time difference, space difference, age difference, location difference. But I just feel connected with you.
Right.
So I had to have you on this platform. It's a very
Mhm.
small platform, but I was called to. I felt like we need to have this circle started, because especially now more than ever, there's no cushion left for any of us, and I think this space, this container that we can jointly create can be very, very healing for all of us. And I'm just so honored that you have accepted to jump in and to share your wisdom with us for the first
Yeah.
time on video with us sitting in India. So I'm absolutely thrilled, Vera.
I know I've been in another lifetime in India because my house is very much India and I eat Indian food and the first dance class I ever took was classical Indian dance and there's blood in there from your world.
Mm-mm-mm. I was in the US for last 1.5 year. In fact, just before COVID epidemic started, I moved back here. I have to finish my studies and I have to come back again, but I don't know when that's going to happen. So I've left it to the mother goddess to decide. But yeah, so
Ah,
there's not,
okay.
there's
Well,
not,
good. Well, then when you come back, then you'll come here, and one day I can come there.
of course, my institute's head office is in Atlanta. I was just so amazed when you told me you live in Atlanta. I was like, really? What is this? Some coincidence?
Well, it's not odd.
That's Tao, right? There, not there.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so
lovely.
so shall we begin this little conversation? Are you comfortable? Do you feel
Sure.
settled in now on this platform?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, that's
You
beautiful.
got me. You got me.
I'm so lucky. Okay, so before we begin officially, I would just like to welcome everybody on this little Shakti stage today. We have with us a very beautiful, beautiful woman, a guest from Atlanta. She's profoundly touched my life, and I wish to share her energy, her wisdom, and with deep reverence, I bring her on this platform for all of us to partake of her wisdom. She's a massage therapist since 1989, if I'm not mistaken. 89, yeah?
85.
85, wow. Okay, so 1985. And and she's been into deeper inner inquiries, tantric principles, inner work, deeper healing, women's circles. So she brings a wealth of wisdom. It's hard for me to even list down the number of things that she's learned and she does in the world. But I bring to you Mira today with all my love, and welcome Mira on this Shakti stage today and amongst our group in Shine Woman. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Okay, Mira. So before we begin, I was looking up your name. I don't know why. I was inspired to see what exactly does this mean, because the part of world where I come from, East, Mira was a devotee. She was a
Mm.
devotee of Krishna, who's like the most beloved of all gods. And there's a beautiful story of her. She was a devotee. She left her home. She left everything. She said, "If I have Krishna, I have everything in the world. If I have this God consciousness, I don't need anything or anybody else." But I was inspired.
Well,
But I was inspired to look up your name with a particular spelling, and I came across the meaning, and it meant in Hebrew, it means light.
yes, it's one who shares her light with others.
Yes. And I was like, wow, this there couldn't be a better fitment with what you do in the world. So it's just so.
Thank you. I wasn't born with that name. It was a name I had given myself um, maybe 30 years ago when I was going to begin performing as a belly dancer. And I was born as Robin, and I never, ever felt like that was my name. And so I took that opportunity to find my name.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
Miera was the
Yeah.
name that I came up with. And it's interesting, it's also a Hebrew name, which is what my roots are,
Wow.
even though I don't really resonate with being a Jewish woman per se. But it was very interesting that I came up with that name for myself. I pronounce it differently, like I do everything else. I take what I learn and then I make it my own.
Absolutely. That's
So that's an interesting story about Mira in India.
Yes, I'm gonna email that to you so you can read about her. She used to sing songs of devotion. She used to dance. Her prayer was music and dance. And when you sent me that song, I was so touched. I was so touched. I'm gonna play it for the group in our recording,
Good.
uh, and they're all gonna enjoy. It's a beautiful song that Mira has shared with all of us, and with her permission, I'm going to share with all of us in a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but I was so touched, Mira, when you sang that song, because it all just connected in my head. That Mira, the devotee, the dancer, the singer, the musician, the one who spreads her light and her wisdom, and this Mira in our world is doing
That's
exactly.
what I do.
Yeah.
That's what I do. Yeah. And, I call myself one who dances in life. And it's not just, to be on a dance floor, it's to literally interact with my environment, with my senses.
Mm. Okay, so Mira, we would like to begin by asking you, what's your story? Like, if you can tell us, what's your story been like?
There's a million stories to tell.
The one that you'd like to
Like
ask today.
the one that I would like to talk about today. Well, I'm going to talk about like my real birth, like not my birth given by my mother, but when my soul literally felt like she birthed, and it happened 35 years ago, maybe. I was divorcing. Not even 30 years. Anyways, numbers doesn't matter. I was divorcing my husband at the time. I have 2 children with that man, and that process, as horrific as it was in the moment, was literally the beginning of who you see in front of you today. I am a totally different person on this side of the game than I was prior to. And so saying no to so much of what I had fantasized about how my life was going to look began a quest of saying yes to everything that I wanted.
Mm.
And so the horror of, struggling to get out of what wasn't good for me and wasn't right and was actually quite damaging turned into be my birthday. I fought for my soul. My soul finally got to a place where she wanted to speak her truth and not be quiet. And and not worry about what other people were going to say. I always wanted people to like me. I always wanted to fit in, but that's never been me.
Mm.
It's never been me. I've been unique from day one in my family.
Mm.
And finally, when I became a young adult, I learned that it was okay to break free, break, break free from all the things that was stopping me from being real and being seen and heard. That was the beginning of who I am today, and certainly things continue to come forth that trigger some of my old patterns, that trigger me to step forward, like your invitation, coming here and speaking in front of the machine to women that I don't even see. It's very odd for me. My soul likes hands on, I'm a touchy feely kind of girl. I like in person. I like intimacy. I like eye contact, and even though I can see you, there's so much distance,
Yeah.
I can't smell you. I can't feel you, and I would love to do that. You're beautiful.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh, oh, I wanted to.
So yeah, fighting for my freedom on so many levels was the beginning of a very deep inquiry about who am I and what turns me on and what do I want to do with my life way beyond, being a wife and being a mother and all of that, even though I loved most of it and I have two beautiful children. But there was a lot of me that wasn't being fed in that arena.
Mm,
So
mm,
I went on. I divorced this man and fought for a few years in court to keep my children. I had to fight the judicial system, which was
mm. Yeah.
eye opening.
Oh,
I got to speak my truth in an arena where even though you put your hand on a Bible and say, I swear to God, I'll tell the truth, nobody in that system tells the truth. And I didn't realize that. I had a lot of rose colored glasses on, and they got removed. And then I got to see the real colors of who I was and who the world was.
mm,
So I think I lost a lot of my innocence, but then and but then I regained it in a new way. I rebirthed myself in a new way, in a deeper reality, and it was my reality. It was my world. It was my my beliefs, and I'm still letting go of things that I learned from teachers and parents and books and classes and all of what people have to say, and I'm beginning to just trust myself. Just I have wisdom, and my wisdom is just for me, really. So I love sharing my story, and at the same time, what I love most is inspiring people to find themselves, not through what I've done and through my hardships and my glories, but how do you plant your seed and how do you grow? Because it might look totally different than the way I did it. And I would hope that it does, because I tell most people, don't follow my path. It's not an easy one.
mm, mm. I, mm. What strength, what courage. Yeah. I wish if in this moment I could just, just be in your life presence.
You are. Yeah. It takes a lot of courage to be a human. I don't think I've come across anybody that doesn't have to bite the bullet when it comes to courage and standing up for themselves and doing what's right and saying yes to the mystery of what every tomorrow brings. That's not easy.
True. I feel the silence is it's hard to break in this moment. Thank you for trusting us and me, especially in this moment, and thank you for sharing your heart and this profound turning point in your life.
Thank you.
I've been through a divorce, and each time I do these interviews, it's cracking my heart open, because when I see you, there's, I see, I see us reflecting each other at some level, and and I know it's happening not just for me. I'm sure whoever is watching this is either going through a similar experience, or there is no reason for them to be here in this moment. There is definitely some resonance here. So thank you for taking this courage and for sharing such a deep, deep, vulnerable truth with us. But I want to ask you, having been through this experience for you, what is that resource or what was in you that kept you going? I know that you had two children and a mother's longing, and a mother's will is unshakable, unbreakable, unfathomable.
Yeah, isn't it?
And she will go to the extreme to fight for her children, to get them their right and to get them right. But still, as Mira, as the woman who was in love with a man, as a woman who had an identity somewhere linked to the relationship, as a woman who had a different life, and then suddenly all of that has fallen off, and there's a shaky ground with like sort of no floor beneath, or like the carpet or the whole rug has been pulled, and then we're just sort of in mid-air, and so what were those resources?
I wasn't even in midair. I was spiraling down in the center of the earth. I wasn't at all in flight. It was very magical. I have been gifted with an intuitiveness about me. I've always been present to knowing that. And once I realized where I was, I felt myself going down into a very dark place, understandably so. And what I intuitively began to do was I started to move my body. I started to play music that was very grounding. There were a lot of drums, shamanic kind of music, and I started just listening to my body and moving in ways that just really made me cry and drop down to my knees. And it is what then started to lift me back up. Just moving and crying and screaming and, really losing it. But at the same time, in hindsight, I was gaining myself. In the moment, I felt like I was crumbling. But in hindsight, I was literally the phoenix. I was literally the phoenix rising. And, I wish I knew at that time how powerful that moment was, but it was more devastating than it was exhilarating. But it began me studying belly dance, which brought me into my body and into my sensuality and my connection to the heavens. I really truly felt like I began feeling like I was this bridge between earth and the heaven as I was moving my body and experiencing some really deep emotions and allowing it all just to happen. And that was the biggest gift I gave myself, was allowing the crumbling to happen as I moved at the same time. I crumbled and I moved. And it brought me home. It brought me home.
Chapeau. Bravo, chapeau. One of my teachers used to do this, chapeau. She's like, oh, I'm bow down to the grace in you. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And it's funny you say that, because you talked of destruction, and again, coming from an Eastern mentality and so much soaked into the Eastern way of living, thinking, destruction, the way we see it as humans, is like we're destroying, but it's actually recreation, it's rebirthing, like you said. It's the dance, and it's always a cosmic dance of Shiva and Shakti. At least that's the principle we work with in the East. That Shiva is the destroyer, and then there's this energy which co-creates everything all over again, which existed but not in form, and then that the phoenix rises and it all comes in form. So it's just so incredible, and it's again coming back to a little bit of self-reflection. This is exactly why I feel so connected with you personally. I feel, because I think my journey has been similar. Without even knowing these steps, I think I have walked this very path, getting into drumming, getting into shamanism, getting into this movement and moving the body and shaking it all out. And like you said, that you weren't in your flight. And as seeds, we dug ourselves deeper into the dark. We go still deeper, still darker, still darker. You know, what will happen at the most is the attitude sort of went by. And it's beautiful that you said that the biggest resource that you put to use was allowance and movement.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and there's this invisible trust or faith, at whatever word you put on it, that I just had to lean into, even though I didn't, you know, it wasn't a certain God that I was praying to. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had a conviction. I have a very, very deep conviction with my heart and love. And even though I was heartbroken and I thought maybe I would never trust love again, there was this still thing inside of me that allowed me to trust my process, allowed me to go into the dark, allowed me to have my feelings. You know, I wasn't a good girl at that moment. I was really mad. I wanted to destroy, but at the same time, I wouldn't destroy anything or anybody, including the man who did horrible things. You know, that wasn't my job. My job was to take care of myself so I could be a mother.
Right.
So I could live with a smile on my face and a heart wide open and eyes that were seeing much clearer than the rose-colored glasses that I had on prior to.
This is incredible, Mira. This is incredible. Thank you for sharing your vulnerability, your truth, I can feel through your words, I can feel through each, the unspoken, I can feel through the energy, and I can feel through it. So thank you for sharing this. And thank you for taking the courage at that time and today, for being fighting, for surviving, for being the warrior, for being the goddess, and having lived through that faith, having survived all of that happened.
Yeah.
It's, to say it now like a story in a few sentences is much easier, because at some level we've healed, we've accepted, we've grown over it, right? But
for sure.
but all of those years, all of that pain, all of that tremendous growth, that battle with the universe, and at the same time the surrender, uh, is definitely by no means easy. By no means. So it's tremendous courage, Mira, tremendous courage, and I honor you for taking this courage and having shined through, because I've seen people fall into the cracks and never rise back up, or become
Yes.
or become so bitter towards their partners or towards people who have wronged them, quote unquote.
Right. Right.
But it's so,
Yeah, I was convinced I wasn't going to do it that way.
it's very beautiful, because this is the real work, no? When you have nobody to blame, neither the other nor yourself. You have nobody
Right.
to blame, and that's where healing has happened truly. So
Right.
we wish, Mira, that although you say that you wish for nobody to walk your path because it's not easy, but believe it or not, this is the path that many are walking on, and your signposts can certainly be of tremendous help. And one would like to encourage you to share wherever you felt there was a pitfall, there was this little push required, which probably you did not have at that time, but now we have you, and
Yes.
we have the sisterhood, we have this goddess group, to hold each other through it. So I'd like to encourage you to share with us, if somebody is in a similar journey, or is if it could be anything, like in your case or my case, it was a relation or losing a child or battling for a child, but these all cracks, right? Whether it's a financial problem, whether it's a career problem, whether it's an identity problem, these are all cracks. And
Right.
at the root of all of this is just finding your own ground. And
Right.
like you said, once you found it through your battle, through your struggle, then there was nothing stopping you. You had your roots down there, and then there's nothing stopping you from shining the sun.
Right.
So would you like to talk to us a little bit on that? Because I'm sure there are many of us who are in that similar phase at various aspects of our lives.
Yes, and it's interesting. I've been pondering lately how over time, over sometimes from day to day or year to year, that when I find that I'm rooted somewhere, the next moment I might have to root again in a different land. It doesn't mean that once you're rooted one time, you stay rooted. Sometimes those roots die. Sometimes those roots need to be planted in new soil. Sometimes it's all relative. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I absolutely.
So it's very important for me to pay attention to when I'm shifting from one place to another, from one belief to another, from one dance to another, and find out where is my center now.
Mm. Mm.
So it's a constant like tweaking. I find that to get sedentary in feeling like we're grounded or we've been rooted somewhere, it's not necessarily in our best interest to stay put. Sometimes it's really good to dig it up and plant somewhere new, because then you grow. You just keep flourishing, and you realize that, oh, well, maybe yesterday I was a daisy, but now I'm a rose, and what does a rose do? Does, there's just, and it's fun. For me, that's fun. I like movement. I like the mystery. I like depth. I don't mind going in the dark. I like both. I like dark and light. I find that they're both very lovely flavors. But to get used to one or the other is not necessarily a balance point, and it's good exercise to Yeah, to shift around and find, where is my center now? Given this moment right now, where is my center?
Mm. Mm.
It's like if you're sitting in a chair, your center is in a certain place, but if you were to be on all fours, your
Mm.
center is now in a different place. And it's very good to get acquainted with how you can recenter yourself with your movements.
Mm. Mm. Delicious. Also scary, Mira. Um, because this whole idea, although this is the fact of life that you have to bloom where you're planted and you have to keep replanting yourself, this is the hard truth, but this is also work, constant, tremendous, consistent work. And there comes a point where you're saying, fuck this shit, I don't want to do it again. I'm tired.
Yeah, and that's when you rest.
Yeah. So I want to talk to you about that because, this is like the new crack, the new dope that we constantly want to be on the move, constantly want to do and be these doers, constantly want to grow. We have this constant, if we're not doing anything, if we're not growing, if we're not, the mental standards that we set for ourselves to push ourselves to grow, we cannot rest. I feel this many times
Yes.
that it's hard for us to just be in that non-doing space and accept that it's okay for me to not grow. It's okay for my roots to be rotten. It's okay to be not okay. And what do you think about
Yeah. Well, I go to the seasons, and so here we are in where I live is the beginning of winter. And so, your leaves fall off and your tree is naked. You're still a tree and your roots are still there, but they're not blooming. They're not changing colors. They're not beautifully, protecting you from the sun. You're just a naked tree. And so, yes, when you feel like it's time to slow it down and just be, then that's a beautiful dance in itself. And to not be critical
that?
and not to be judgmental about it allows you to stay rooted in that place.
Mm, mm,
Like there's no, when I say, to change your root system from one place to another, I'm not talking about being active per se. I'm just saying let's be present and just notice, are you happy where you are or not? Not critical, not judgmental, but there's this little voice inside your head that says it's time to do XYZ. So are you going to listen to that voice or not? We always are at choice, right?
mm,
We always can say yes or no to everything and anything. And to totally be okay with that is pure grace in my world.
mm. Because I'm reminded of a beautiful thing that once a teacher told me, and it was again in a women's circle, I believe. And she said that every time, like this is on the yes and the no part that you just said. And as women, we often shy away from the no because we fear rejection. We fear, oh, if I say no, I will not be loved, I will not be liked, I will not be accepted, yada yada yada. So we're always usually in the people pleaser and in the yes mode, saying a yes to the outside more often than not. And it's like we don't want to many times, but we still do it. And she said something very beautiful, which changed the whole thing for me. Like it was like, whoa, a light bulb, a whole stadium went on inside me. And she said this. She said that remember, every time you say yes to something, you're also saying a no to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So she said that you may say a yes or
And vice versa, though, don't you think?
sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
I said, and vice versa.
absolutely. So she said that every time you do this, you don't realize that by default you are saying a no. So while you are shying away from saying the no to the outside world, to the people outside of you, to the relationship, or to the toxicity, or to the extra workload, or to that extra paycheck, or to your children nagging, every time you're saying a yes to something that you don't want, you are saying a no to yourself. So you are actually pretty used to saying that no. And it's just that you say that to yourself all the time. It's about time you start saying that to others as well. And give a yes to you. And and that's so amazing about your mirror, because you took that jump, you did that, you said a yes to yourself, you said a yes, and every moment, like you said, where's your center? Every time you came back to mirror and you said that, what is my dance of this moment? What do I want to say yes to in this moment? What is it that makes me feel centered or rooted in this moment? Is it the rest? Is it the fight with those guys in the courtroom? Is it my children? Is it my toxicity in the relationship? Is it the drumming? Is it that catharsis that I want to do? What is my yes in the moment? And even if it's painful, even if it is killing me, even if it's cracking me up, even if it's tearing me apart, it's a yes to me, and it's so powerful that you did that, because that's why you're here with us sharing this wisdom.
Yeah, say yes to yourself. I mean, in hindsight, before I started saying yes to myself 99% of the time, my yeses to the outside world were not authentic. They weren't honest. And so, I mean, what is truly, you have to think about, what is it that what kind of game are you playing? Like, do you want true intimacy, not just with yourself, but with the world outside of yourself? And if so, then you have to show up authentically and honestly. Otherwise, you're just, BSing. And that's not fun for children or friends or co-workers or anybody really to have that coming at them. It's not really fair to anybody.
And honestly, like they say, that you can feel the energy even before you speak a word. Your energy communicates everything about you. You're not authentic, it's not going to work. Neither for you nor for them. It's going to be for nobody's good, least of all yours. So, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Mira, it brings me to a slightly shift in topic, if you will allow.
Sure. I'm going to dance with you.
Yeah, please. I want to move too. Okay, so I want to shift a little bit to the play side. Since you brought the word play, it just there was a bulb, that antenna that went up in my head, and it got me to this concept of body. You are very deeply involved in the form, in the work with the form now, as a therapist, as a dealing with the massages, dealing with various bodies, dealing with the sensation of touch, uh, not just physical touch, but even the energetic touch, which I can feel through your words, through your energy, through your post, through everything. So it's the energy of touch that you have embodied so beautifully, and with your practices, with shamanism, with drumming, with all of that, with the grounding, with the rooting, this whole association with the body, with the intimacy with self, I think has bloomed open in you. Would you like to talk a little bit on that for us? Because this is the ultimate pleasure. Even in the Tantra principles, you are your own lover, and so would you like to talk to us a little bit on that, please?
Yeah, and it goes back to your roots. No matter how many techniques I've learned in my Tantra education, that it's not about a technique, it's about your presence. Are you in the moment? Are you not in your head, but are you in your heart? Are you allowing your senses, your smells and your sights and your fingertips and the hairs on your legs? Are you paying attention to their ability to play, because they have a mind of their own, and to, you know, just think about things, just to think about things of what we should do, what we shouldn't do, what position should I be in, what, you know, what's best. I have found that none of that is important.
Mm,
What's important is the intention in your heart
mm,
and your openness to just be in the moment, not what happened yesterday, not what you want to happen tomorrow, you know, not what you like, not what you don't like, but just to feel what you're feeling,
mm,
you know, period. End of conversation, with no judgment.
mm, mm, mm,
And that is your truth. And it doesn't have to be like anybody else's truth.
mm, mm,
And when everybody comes to the table with that kind of presence, then that's where joy and bliss and pleasure get to really play, because everybody's taking care of themselves. Everybody's, you know, doing their work, their own work, not wondering what I'm supposed to do to make you feel good,
mm,
but you doing what you need to do so you can be present, so
mm,
you can tell whether or not it feels good or if it doesn't feel good. And
mm,
if it doesn't feel good, what are you going to do about it?
mm,
You know, sometimes it's just taking a deep breath.
mm. Ah,
You
mm,
know, where am I resisting? Why am I resisting? What do I want to ask for? What do I need right now in order for me to have a big, huge yes? Not because I want to say yes to please you, but because I want to say yes to please me. And
mm,
if I'm pleasing me, then the person, if I am interacting with somebody, the person's going to have a much easier time participating in my pleasure if I'm taking care of my pleasure. Does that make sense?
absolutely. Mm, mm, mm. Yeah, pleasure is always mine.
So, like, as a massage therapist, as a massage therapist, people tend to come and say, I want you to fix me. But what I do with my clients is I teach them, what do you need to do so you can receive my touch? What can you do to allow yourself to soften? What what do you need to do to say yes to more pleasure during this touch? Because I'm not it. I'm just a I'm just two hands on the outside.
Mm,
And so it's the same thing with intimacy, sexuality, a dance partner. It doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you can find ways to just be in the moment and be present and take care of yourself honestly, impeccably, then it's more fun for everybody.
mm,
And it
mm.
makes it so easy, like stress-free. Stress-free lovemaking. Imagine that.
Oh.
Is being able to say what you like and what you don't like, what you want and what you don't want, without hesitation, because you love yourself that much.
Mm. Such a
And
heart.
anybody on the outside, if they're going to fight you on that, is not really worth the time and energy. If they don't want to honor
Mm-hmm.
that place within you, you would want them to be honoring that place within them. If
Absolutely.
they can't do that, it's not fun. It's hard. It hurts.
Yeah, it's negotiating then, like a business deal, and it's no fun.
So it all goes back. It all goes back to saying yes to yourself.
Mm. I'm gonna breathe through that for a second. Yeah, this is so beautiful. There's this one thing though that comes in me from my experience. Um, after after your relationship collapse in that sense, uh, like for me, it was very hard to be able to open up again for physical touch, for intimacy of any sort, gender apart. Like I was just scared
Right.
to be in close contact with even my own mother or my brother or my closest of
Yeah.
friends. Like I had shut myself down to the world because I felt something was wrong with me and my energy, and I should not expose myself to my loved ones because I will become an energy vampire then. and 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 because it's my belief. I remember I was learning massage once in Rishikesh from a teacher, and he taught me. He said that as a therapist, you are like a flute, you are like a bamboo, and the energy flows through you and into you, through you and into you. It's like a orgasmic cosmic dance which happens, and it just was stuck in my head that if that happens, then I have no right with this energy and with this mess that's happening in me to be able to be in close contact with anybody. And it was such a huge fear for me to open up to this concept of human touch again. Uh, and I'm sure that many of us, whether or not we've had a relationship crack, we are scared of human touch, although that's something that we all need so badly. I remember studying once, and it was written there that as babies, if you're not given the warmth, if the mother doesn't hold you close, you would die in a period of certain days. Like you wouldn't survive as a human species. We need the sensation of touch, especially. So, Mira, would you talk to us through that? That how do you overcome this fear of we're not in touch with our own bodies? Like it's hard to feel that softness sometimes within our own skins and within our own bodies to be able to feel in somebody else, whether it's a pet, your mother, partner, you know. How would you talk to us through that about overcoming this fear of touch?
Well, yeah, that's a very, very real problem in our world. Um, and basically, there's no easy way around it. You just have to say, I can't be afraid of this any longer because I want to thrive.
Mm.
So at some point, you have to let go of the stories that are in your head that are telling you I'm bad. My energy is going to suck somebody else's energy. I'm going to have a negative impact on blah blah blah. First of all, in my world, we don't have that much power over other people.
Mm.
So this is, I come from a place of self-responsibility. And so I don't have power to make you feel good or bad. So right away, that eliminates one monkey in my brain.
Fun.
Like that's not my job. It's not my business. It's not my circus. I'm going to let other people deal with their energy. What I need to focus on is my energy. So you have to you have to go in and find out what's it going to take. Is it time where I start self-pleasuring? Do I need to just get a feather and start touching my body, and feeling? Do I need to go sit on grass and let the grass, tickle my skin? Do I go into water and feel, the waves and the currents on my skin? You have to come to a decision. Do I need a friend who I can call up and say, I just really want to lay in bed and I just want you to hug me? And it could be a male or a woman. It doesn't have to be sexual or sensual. I just want to I just want to be held, and I want to be able to cry. And I don't want you to fix me, and I don't want you to think that there's anything that you need to do, because what I need to do is come home to myself.
Mm.
And so that's through a massage therapist. You know, you find somebody that you trust, and you make an agreement with yourself first, and then you tell the person what you're there for, and say, can you give this to me? Can you touch me and let me cry and scream, but not stop the massage? You know, because I want to work through this. I'm tired of isolating myself from myself and from the world, because that's what it's like. You like put yourself in a prison, and I mean, it's not fun, right?
Right. Right. This is
So yeah, you have to just find out where your comfort zone is. And you know, some people go to tantrikas or sexual surrogates to work through some of their traumas. You know, you find somebody safe that you could, like a wounded animal, you know, once they get wounded, they have to shake their body to get that trauma out. And so that happens for us humans as well. We've got to move it, however it is. And it comes through tears. Sometimes it comes through rage. Sometimes we stop breathing, and we want people to work with us and say, I'm here for you. I'm going to remind you to breathe, and I'm just going to hold you and let you do your work. Because it's up to us to do that work. Nobody can do that for us. But we have to be convicted enough to want to go through it. Otherwise, we stay stuck. And then we harden. And then we don't feel anything. And it's a choice. You know, I'm not here to say don't do it that way, because some people would much rather harden than to feel. It's not easy to be a human that has a wide range of emotions, and a human who is constantly bombarded with grief and disappointments and heartbreak, and traumas and all that. We have to constantly clean ourselves. So that's, again, it goes back to, where's your center? Well, you know, what do you need right now? You need to be honest with yourself in any given moment, because we're always being triggered. If we pay attention, we're always being triggered by something, someone, somewhere, somehow. Brings up some kind of old story that's still lingering, that's giving us reasons to not do this and not do that. They're always there. But then there's always the reason to break free and to do what we want to do, what feels good. I would much rather find joy in my life than suffering. That's one of my deepest convictions. If I'm suffering, I am off center. That's an instant mirror for me. Anytime I'm suffering, that's when I look in and say, what am I doing? What am I thinking that's causing the suffering? Do I want to stay here, or do I want to move? So, you know, sometimes I put on music that changes my mindset, or I move my body and shake my body and get into the earth, you know, or sometimes I chant and I get, you know, out of my head, and I don't even know what the words are sometimes, but it's the vibration that kind of like breaks through the hard layerings that we have on us, that kind of like opens us up to the next moment, whatever that is. Sometimes we don't even know what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it for me sometimes, is that not knowing, you know, why am I doing this? I don't know. but I think it makes me feel good, so I'm gonna do it. And then in hindsight, I'm like, oh wow, well that was pretty brilliant, Miera. Didn't know it in the moment, but if you pay attention and you listen,
Mm.
we have this wisdom that's accessible to us no matter where we are,
Mm.
always.
Mm.
In the light and in the dark, it's always there. And it whispers, so you have to sometimes really be still and quiet the mind because it's such a distraction sometimes.
Mm.
So I've learned, and I think it's because I was born with a certain wiring in my head, that my wisdom is not my brain. I'm not an intellectual person. I'm an emotional, physical being that's got heavenly essence to her, but my intellect is my emotional senses.
Mm.
And I know not everybody's designed that way, but that's one of my gifts, and that's one of my it's what I lean on. And everybody has to find that sweet spot within themselves. It might not be through touch. It might be through writing a book. It might be going on a silent retreat. It might be speaking in front of 175 women telling your story. And sometimes we don't know until we try. And I have come to the realization that it's really okay for me to constantly forgive myself. That if I've done something that doesn't bring me in the direction that I was planning on going, that to tell myself that I did the best I knew with what I had in that moment. I did my best, and now I'm going to do something different. And then I just let it go.
Mm. Mm. Mira, these are some incredible, incredible seeds that you have planted and you have scattered here amongst us today. I am sure that there's, there's a lot that we need to listen to over and over again in order to reprogram the way we've been conditioned or we've conditioned ourselves to think about things. And like you said, this is work which happens with your own inner integration, heightened with your own intuition, guided by your own little voice inside, which slowly, petal by petal, opens this gift that each of us carry within, and it just knows how to take us home. It just knows.
Yes.
It just it's that intelligence. No matter how much we deny, deep down we all know that that's the voice that's going to take me home, and I have to listen to it today or tomorrow or the day after. Uh, and uh,
Yeah.
and while we do that, it's these little signposts that like you and me are planting right now, which are reminders to go back to that space. Like you did that for me in this moment. You massaged my brain and my heart uh, with what you said, because it was just rubbing off certain ideas and reminding me once again to listen to my own voice, which is guiding me to open up my gift. Uh,
Right.
you are holding this big wide mirror for all of us in this group, the 175 plus women in this group right now. And I encourage all of us to just take a deeper look into what Mira has just shared, and what this conversation brings up for each of us in our own hearts, in our own beings. Because like Mira said, this is our work, this is our journey, and we can read a book, we can paint art, we can write words, we can sing, we can dance, but ultimately it is this thing that's inside your heart that's gonna guide you back home. So no matter the fears, No matter the cracks, no matter the external circumstances or situation, there's something in you that's going to keep you going, um, and you're going to hold on to that. And, and whenever you need help, there are these amazing, amazing beings like Mira here, who are holding space, which is the most delicate, most misunderstood, and the most needed art. Where you're just in this allowance, uh, participative, yet not influencing anything, no outcomes needed, and just there, present, um, with absolute totality for the other being, the other person, and just that very presence, like in this moment it's doing for me, with Mira's 100% presence, I am falling deeper into my own in this moment. It's just these beautiful beings who are accessible to us today. And I invite all of us, to partake of this wisdom that Mira is sharing in this moment, and that this conversation, the seeds that are growing and blossoming. So Mira, before we close, there's a lot that I want to talk to you, and I'm gonna reach out to you again, because this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning, and there are so many um, wonderful, wonderful things that you've said today that have inspired me to come up with some more conversations that I want to have with you, but not all today because I don't want to exhaust you. So this is just the beginning. But before we close today, Mira, um, I just wanted to go one level deeper with you, and if you may allow. Um,
Yeah.
there's always this space in all of us which is scared that I will be hurt again. Beyond beyond this thing of me being a toxic energy vampire or me influencing anybody else, honestly, deep down, our fear, for me at least, it has been that I will be hurt again.
Yes.
It's an honest truth. And even though I open and I laugh and I'll go out with men and I'll go out with women and I'll make new friends and I'll do 100 things and this and that, deep down somewhere there is always something in me that wants to still protect me because of the past or because of it being an inner guide or whatever of sorts. There's always this dance between, am I protecting myself or am I stopping myself from living my truth of the moment?
Yes.
So there's always this uh, uh, stilettos and bare feet, like I call uh, that needs to be danced in moment to moment of how do you deal with this fear of I may be hurt again, and how do you overcome that?
I don't know that there is a way to overcome it. Um, I think it's a guarantee that we as humans are going to be, we're going to be gifted with experiences. And some experiences are going to feel good, and some experiences are going to not feel good. And that's just part of the human realm, it seems. There's no way to predict always. So what I tell myself is I've survived every hurt that I've had for 62 years. So what if I have another hurt? And am I going to limit the possibilities for joy, pleasure, connection, intimacy, for fear of what may or may not come? Probably not. I've survived all of them. Here I am. Here you are. We've all survived them from the minute we took our first breath.
Uh-huh.
So, what's there to fear, really? So what? So you get a broken heart. So what? It tells you that you're still alive. And so when you get hurt, you take care of yourself. You know, you feed yourself good food, you take a bath, you take a rest, you call on friends that love you and you let them know that you feel hurt and they hear you and you know they hold space for you and then you're alive again and then you take your next breath and you say your next yes.
Oh my God. This is it's like there was a mountain and you just said, "Oh, it was not a mountain." You were just seeing it with a magnifying glass. Just move the glass and you see it's not a mountain at all.
It's really easy when you know you just shift the perspective of it.
Absolutely.
You know, and again, you have to come to a place to how do I want to live my life? You know, we have however many years, months, days left to live. Nobody knows.
Mm,
And how do you want to experience it?
mm.
It's just flavors, you know? It's a different flavored ice cream, and some flavors you like, and some flavors you don't, but it doesn't stop you from getting another ice cream.
Yeah. Oh no, you did that. Oh no. Delicious and yum, yum, yum. So Mira, this is beautiful what you've just said. That it's just my own belief. That I think that it's a mountain that I'll be hurt again. What hurt have I not faced? Like if I just
Right?
what have I not faced? Like come on, I've gone through that, and I'm afraid of this. Like hello.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean that you're going to walk up to somebody and say, you know, I want you to hurt me.
Absolutely.
But, you know, there's so much out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no point in trying to control everything because, I don't know, I pretty much come to that agreement with myself that I'm not that powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's up to me just to, it's like you know, it's just a dance partner. You
Mm-hmm.
know, some dance partners you really, really have fun with, and others they're messy and they're stepping on your feet, and you can't wait for the song to end, and you need to just move on to the next dance partner.
Oh my God, Mira, I want to get in that room and dance with you.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us, a lot of us who are seeing this right now, or listening to this, are ready to just put on those shoes and just get on the floor and just, just dance. So I am, at the end of this, I'm going to play that song that Mira has sent for all of
Mm.
us. It's an amazing song. I don't want to leak it. I don't want to even tell you the name. I'm going to play it for you at the end of this video. Uh, but Mira, before we end, just one more thing. Is there a message that you'd like to leave us with today?
My message would be say yes to something new. Have the courage to say yes to something new.
You just did that, didn't you? And so, so, so amazingly, you said yes to this, and you're here on this platform. Like,
And I am actually loving it. I don't even want to hang up.
oh, neither do I. I can go on. I love spending energy with you. And it's just so amazing. Like, honestly, Mira, I would have asked you to just put on music and we could belly dance step by step. But I have this idea that's coming in me. I'm gonna develop it a little, and I'm gonna reach out to you because I think besides the massage, which we cannot get onto the table right now with you, but we sure can dance. So I would love to invite you to share some of those movements and some of those things with you, and we'd love to follow you. We'd love to follow step by step in our homes, in whichever part of the world. There are women from all over.
I can totally put that together.
That will be such a gift for all of us, and I'm sure all of us are going to welcome this because I remember learning belly dance from a beautiful woman, Saida, and I was learning it online. Although she's fantastic and fabulous, but there's this connection, Mira, now with you, where I know that it's not just the dance; it's the dance with
Yeah.
the unknown that I'm gonna get exposed to.
Yeah.
The way Mira did it.
Yeah, it's not about technique.
Yeah. and and
Yeah.
and, and the way you're doing it, like I'd like to learn from teachers. That's my thing. I like to learn from teachers who have themselves walked the path, who have been through the crack, and who are shining this radiance, which is such a gift to be in presence of. So Mira, I just want to honor you. Thank you for
Mm.
being with us today. This has been an incredibly heart-opening, um, really heart-opening conversation with you. It's flooded my heart open, and I'm going to listen to this again as I play back. I'm sure the seeds that you've planted with your words and your silences and your energy today in me. And I'm sure there's a lot that all of us can partake from. I hope it touches. There's something in this for everybody. Uh,
Nice.
so I
Nice. Well, I'm sprinkling my love all over all of you. You're beautiful. Thank you for sharing my evening, your morning.
and now, Mira, I'm gonna connect with you once again very soon. For this moment, I would just like to just give you a big, long distance digital hug.
Mm. Hmm. Thank you.
Receiving you. Thank you.
Mhm.
This has been incredibly beautiful.
Mhm.
Ah, oh, I need to shake. Ooh. Thank you so much, Mira. No, really, this is incredible. And how do you feel in this moment?
Well, my smile feels like it's from ear to ear. I feel seen. I feel heard. I feel safe. I feel proud. I feel blessed. So you've touched me. Thank you.
So have you, Mira. You have touched me. Mira, thank you for inspiring. I'm going to learn so much more from you. This is just the beginning. Thank you for
Okay.
being my teacher.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you again soon.
Absolutely.
Bye.